You know that feeling, right? You're in a conversation, maybe it's a first date, maybe a big job interview, and then nothing, just silence. And it's that moment where everybody just scrambles to fill the gap because it feels so awkward. Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you that silence isn't this void that you should be afraid of? What if it's actually a powerful tool you can use? Well, let's dive in and explore how you can turn those awkward pauses into your biggest advantage.
So, why are we so afraid of silence? It's a fantastic question, isn't it? Because this fear, it's pretty much universal. We rush to fill pauses, we start fidgeting, we feel this, this bizarre pressure to just say anything. And a huge part of this is psychological. Our brains are literally wired for social connection. So when a conversation goes silent, it can feel like disapproval or even rejection. It's like the connection just got severed. So let's unpack why we feel this way, and even more important, how to flip that fear into a real advantage.
All right, let's get to the root of the problem. Our modern world, think about it. It's built on a foundation of nonstop noise, constant connection, constant stimulation. You've got push notifications, endless social media feeds. We're basically conditioned to see every single quiet moment as this empty space that has to be filled. And it has to be filled right now. And all that does is just crank up our natural anxiety about social disconnection. And this really gets to the heart of it. In our culture, we tend to think that speaking equals confidence, right? That it equals knowledge and control. And silence, well, that gets misinterpreted as uncertainty or hesitation or even weakness. So we feel this massive pressure to prove we're valuable, to prove we're engaged by just talking. But in doing that, we're totally missing out on a much, much more powerful strategy. Okay, so this is where we're going to make a shift. It is time to completely reframe how we think about silence. It's not some negative space, you know? It's not just the absence of sound. It's actually a powerful, active tool that you can use with incredible precision. It's not empty. It is absolutely full of potential for understanding, for influence, and for reflection. So let's break this down. You've got two competing mindsets here. On one side, there's the myth we're all taught. Silence is awkward, it's passive, it's a sign of weakness, just a void that needs to be filled. But the reality, it's the complete opposite. When you use it intentionally, silence becomes strategic. It becomes an active choice that projects confidence. And, get this, it creates opportunities you would have otherwise totally missed.
All right, let's get a little more specific and look at our first big technique here. Now, we're not just talking about, being quiet for the sake of it. We're talking about something called the strategic pause. This is where silence becomes this deliberate, super powerful communication tool. It really just comes down to knowing when not to speak.
Think about it this way. A pause gives your words weight. It creates a space for the other person to actually process what you just said, to really think about it, and to feel the impact of your message. Without that little bit of space, even your most profound words can just get lost in the noise of the conversation. Just 3 seconds. Can you believe that? 3 seconds. That is the average time before someone gets interrupted in a normal conversation. We barely give ourselves or anyone else any time to think. We're just so eager to jump in with our own point that we completely derail the natural flow of thought. But by just waiting a few more seconds, you can literally change the entire dynamic of a conversation. So here's the crucial point. A strategic pause is intentional. It's a tool. You can use it to make your last point land with way more authority. You can use it to give yourself a beat to come up with a better, more thoughtful response. And, maybe most powerfully, you can use it to shift the control of the conversation right back to you. Okay, so the theory is great and all, but how does this actually work in the real world, right? Let's look at some super practical everyday situations where you can put this technique to use, immediately. This is fantastic. Okay, picture this. You're in a tough negotiation. They make an offer. What's your first instinct? To immediately jump in with a counteroffer. But the power move? Say nothing. Just hold that silence. Let them sit with their own offer. What happens is they'll often start negotiating against themselves just to fill that quiet. Or how about a heated argument? Instead of firing back a quick retort, just pause. That one moment of calm can completely de-escalate the tension and gives you time to respond thoughtfully instead of emotionally. And leading a team meeting? This is a great one. Ask a really important question and then just wait. Let the silence do the work and draw out the best, most considered ideas from your team.
So, when you reframe silence like this, not as a weakness, but as a strength, you're not just learning some new communication trick. You are genuinely gaining a new superpower. It's one that gives you way more influence in your interactions and, just as important, more space for your own self-reflection.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. True power, it doesn't come from being the loudest person in the room, from just dominating the conversation with noise. It almost always comes from that quiet confidence to listen, to actually think, and to speak only when your words are going to have the most impact. The person who's mastered silence, that's usually the person with the most control.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. In your very next conversation, I don't care if it's with a coworker, a friend, a family member, I challenge you, try it. Just deploy one strategic pause. See what happens when you lean in and embrace the power of saying nothing. You might be really surprised by the clarity, the influence, and the understanding you gain from it.